Well, most of us will never spend more on something than we do on our homes, but most of the time the cars come in second place.
Oh yeah, they're not cheap to buy. Maintenance alone can be pretty costly. Trust me, I know. New engine coming for me.
Oh, really?
Yep. So who's game, though, for some free advice? We love everything free.
We do, and for that we're going to turn to Peter Fink from Certified Transmission. Good to see you, Peter.
Hey, always fun to be here.
Yes.
You know, free's dangerous, okay? You know, it might not be that good.
With a car, you don't want free.
Right. Yeah. Well, thanks for being here today. And you mentioned the AC is out in one of your buildings, too.
Oh, yeah.
It's
You
that
know,
time of
one of
year.
our larger buildings, where accounting's at, it's out. So, of
Yeah.
course, you know, call the heating and air conditioning people to get it done. We don't work on that stuff.
Right. You don't do that. Well, thanks for grinding through it with
Yep.
us here today. Let's get to these questions because Dave wants to know the temperature gauge is all over the place in my 2008 Chevy Silverado four-wheel drive. Then when it's bouncing all over, the AC cuts out. Any idea what the problem could be?
Well, first thing is always the first concern when you see anything temperature related. Is it really getting hot or not? Okay, and stuff, all right? First thing is when the car is sat and it's cooled off, check to make sure the radiator's full and make sure the overflow tank is in the proper tank position. Do not check it when it's hot. If you open that radiator, you're going to get sprayed and go into the hospital and severe burns and everything else, okay? It's because it's under pressure when it's running, okay? So if it isn't proper filled, okay, with antifreeze, it's going to, the temperature gauge is going to go up and down, and things like this, okay, and stuff, all right? Chances are it probably isn't that, okay, but you always want to start with the basics, okay? Could have a bad sensor, okay, that sends to the gauge. Then the last thing would be that the gauge itself is actually going bad, which on Chevy trucks is somewhat kind of common for the, it's a whole cluster, the speedometer and all your gauges, and it goes bad. Unfortunately, you need a new one of those or a used one, okay, to fix it. Not usually the cheapest thing, okay. That's probably where you're going to find the problem because we've seen a lot of those heads go bad. But always check the simple stuff and the inexpensive stuff first, and then go from there. As far as why the AC cuts out, well, when it goes up to full temperature and gets hot, it shuts all the other stuff off trying to cool the engine because your engine does run hotter when your air conditioner's on. Okay.
Oh, it does. I didn't think of that. That's interesting. Huh, I'm learning a lot.
There you go.
That's why he's here.
I know. I'm learning stuff too. Well, hey, Jerry and I have something in common. Running out of gas happened to me a few weeks ago,
That's right.
but that was
And
my
there's video
problem.
proof of that, too.
There is. I did that. But his question is, I had the fuel pump replaced in my BMW 3 Series. Then I ran out of gas, but still had a quarter of tank showing on the gauge. Is the gauge connected to the fuel pump?
Okay, since he said he had the fuel pump replaced, I'm not 100% familiar with the BMW, but I suspect on all cars this day and age, and I'm sure this one falls in that category, the fuel pump's in the gas tank. Obviously, the gas sensor is in the gas tank too. Usually it's part of the fuel pump. I would probably suspect that they either got a defective one, okay, that the sensor on the fuel pump isn't reading properly to the gauge, or possibly they even put the wrong fuel pump in, maybe an aftermarket one instead of a true BMW one, or the technician bent something or damaged something putting it together. One of the three, but chances are it's not the gauge. It's going to be fuel tank related. If it was accurate before, and then after you had the fuel pump replaced and it isn't accurate, it's going to be something with that. You need to go back to the shop.
Go back to where he had it done.
Yep. Hopefully there should be a warranty. They should be responsible for it. Personally, I had this happen on a Ford myself. Okay, and that you know, had it replaced and the gauge was off, and guess what? I ran out of fuel also. The meter said I had 50 more miles to be able to go, and guess what? That wasn't accurate, okay, and stuff, you know. So they had to put a different one in, okay. So it is somewhat common, and I'm sure it's related with the fuel pump.
Yeah, okay, well, let's get to this last question because this is from Monica, and she asks, there's a constant grinding noise now in my 2000 Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo. It's even worse after I've been driving on the interstate, kind of a grinding, scraping. I don't see anything hanging loose. Any clue what could be causing the issue?
You know, this kind of reminds me of, I've had people sometimes call me up on their cell phone. Here, listen to this noise while I'm driving, okay, or while the engine's running. Can you tell me what that is? You know, Honestly, that's a wide variety of we're talking. Okay, now one thing I will tell you is if it's speed related and the noise gets worse as you're going faster, okay, then it's going to be something with your tires rotating, the bearings, the wheel bearings, something like that, possibly in the drive shaft U-joint. I don't think so. Probably what we got here, if I had to take a guess, okay, is the heat shield is broke loose from the exhaust and it's rattling, okay, and sometimes can even make a grinding noise. Sometimes a exhaust bracket will break or a hanger and it'll make all kinds of noise, okay. So I suspect that's probably more likely what we have. It's not going to hang down on the ground, but you get it to a shop, okay. There's a lot of good, you know, muffler shops in town. I'd probably start there. A lot of them even do general repair anymore, so they could probably take care of almost anything. I don't think it'll be severe, but you probably want to get it in and take care of it.
Checked out. What percentage of the time, since you brought this up about noises, what percentage of the time can you diagnose a problem from just listening to the car sound?
You know, in the old days, you actually could, okay? But today, you've got to road test it. You've got to usually do a lot more testing and stuff like that. And noises is the worst thing because guess what? I'll hear a different noise than you hear, okay, and stuff. And so I'll go after one noise, fix it, and the customer will say, I still got the same noise. And, you know, they're two different.
I fixed the other noise.
Oh, yeah. I mean, noises are probably that and vibrations, okay? Those two are both bad to deal with, okay, and stuff, so.
Certified Transmission, 5 area locations, certifiedtransmission.com. Peter Fink knows his stuff. Peter,
Yes,
thanks
he
for
does. Thank
stopping by
you.
today. We appreciate it.
All right,
so
always
much.
fun. Stay